Yo, it's Alex Lovehall. Welcome back to Real Talk Phone a Friend. The name has probably changed, but the point has not. Today's lesson episode theme is what Marvel Rivals taught me about addiction. Okay, as you've been on my channel, you've probably seen that my upload schedule has gotten a little bit smaller than it used to be. I didn't plan on that. There's a lot of life situation happening, housing stuff, financial stuff, just trying to take school more seriously and trying to get my life direction in order, as well as change my YouTube channel to fit a certain goal that I have that you'll see once it's all done. With that being said, there's a lot of things that I was trying to do, not trying to do, and it just kind of all fell apart. I wouldn't even say fell apart. It just changed in a way I didn't expect. And one of those things that I ended up doing was going back to Marvel Rivals. Now, unlike my last one of these videos, I actually have my phone and I have some notes. I didn't write a whole script just because, again, a lot of pressure to do a lot of things in a very short amount of time, but I at least have an idea of what I want to say. The first thing is, if you are an addictive personality person, which I have found out that I can be, here are some of the things that I have found and that I've learned as to what the problem is, and then I will talk about some of the solutions that I've done or that I've had. So some of the problems are that addiction is not a root cause, it is a symptom. Meaning, addiction is not the start of your problem, it is the result of your problem. If you are not going out if you're not going out in public, if you're not talking to women or men, however you get down, if you're not making enough money, if you're not having success at your job, whatever the problem is that addiction is solving, or trying to solve, I should say, you need to address that. But we're going to get way more into that as we go into further the video, right? The next thing is that you don't really beat addiction in the traditional sense. Like, yes, you could say, I'm done with addiction, I'm going to stop being addicted. But I've found that the best way to do that, or one of the best ways to do that, is to accept that you are an addictive person, accept that you have an addiction, and then try to replace that addiction with something else. So for example, let's say you want to work out, but you're not spending time working out because you're on Marvel Rivals 3 hours a day. I'm not judging, I was doing that recently. So instead of just saying, oh, I don't have an addiction, Marvel Rivals is whatever, you could go, hey, I'm gonna work out for an hour before I get on Marvel Rivals, or even work out for 3 hours, right? You're just replacing the thing that you're trying to do instead of just having Marvel Rivals be the thing replacing what you're trying to get done, right? Something else I've learned is that the more that you pull away from addiction, the more it tends to want to rear its ugly head. Don't just try to go cold turkey. Don't just try to go, you know what, I'm addicted, we're just gonna stop. I can do this. No, you can't. Because if you could do it, you wouldn't be addicted in the first place. Again, this is where that acceptance piece comes in. I'm not judging you, I'm just telling you, trying to say I'm gonna stop being addicted, it's not gonna work out that well for you. At least it has not in my experience, right? And if you don't address what is causing the pain or the issue that is making you want to get addicted, it's not gonna matter if it's Marvel Rivals, if it's Call of Duty, if it's, I don't even know how you can say this on YouTube, but let's just call private video watching, if it's eating, if it's going out and having intense private cardio sessions, whatever it is, whatever your vice is going to be, could be alcohol, could be drugs, whatever it is. Even if Marvel Rival goes away, you delete Marvel Rivals, you don't play it for a year, there's going to be something in your life that's going to take the void that Marvel Rivals was filling and replace it. So if you don't address, let's say, oh, I don't talk to a lot of women because X, Y, and Z. If you don't address X, Y, and Z, Marvel Rivals is just A. And if you take away A, B and C are going to come right back in, and probably stronger, because now that you've tried to get rid of Marvel Rivals, B and C has a better chance of sticking around, because like, oh, you tried to get rid of it this way, so now this addiction is going to try to fight itself that way. You know what I'm saying? Or at least stick around that way, right? And Marvel Rivals is not the problem. Okay, I've been playing it on and off for about a year or two. If it was really a problem, if it caused enough pain, I would probably really stick I would probably stop playing it or really step back. Since I haven't done that, I've had to come to the conclusion that yes, I like Marvel Rivals for some things, and that I don't hate the game. There are things that I don't like about the game. The game makes me super frustrated at times, but the game is not the problem. It's lacking in the control and the ability to stop playing or to do other things or to always, I don't want to spoil any of my future points, but Marvel Rivals becomes the catalyst for the bad decision making and the lack of judgment or self-control that addiction tends to have happen, right? And addiction exists in every person. It's more so about the lifestyle, the environment, and the choices that activate the addiction to take place. Again, for the most part, most people, or in this case I'll say all people, have the ability to get addicted to something for some amount of time for any amount of reason. You just have to, at some point, that opportunity is going to present itself. Now, how do you handle that? Whether that will probably determine whether you get addicted or if you just enjoy or you take part in something, right? And what is control? That is something I am not going to answer in this video because that is such a broad and deep and varied topic. I wouldn't be able to do it justice if I even tried to start that answer. But just know, if you can identify for yourself what control is, that is really going to help you in your journey to beat this addiction thing. Because trust me, when you know what it is, when you can understand what control means to you, not what somebody on YouTube told you, not what a dictionary told you, not what a counselor told you, all those things can help. But when you have an answer for yourself, oh man, there's nothing you can't do, right? And kind of what I was saying earlier, anything and everything can become an addiction. Like I said, it could be Marvel Rivals, could be Call of Duty, it could be eating. We already covered that point. We don't need to go into it again. Now, here's some of the signs that I experienced, because again, I'm not a doctor yet, and I'm not somebody who can prescribe you medicine or tell you, hey, this is what's going on. I'm not going to try to pretend I can do that as of right now. So instead, what I'm going to tell you is what I've experienced from my life, which is what I do on this channel anyway. And hopefully from those things that I've experienced, you can kind of see if you are addicted or not, or at least in the ballpark, in the realm, right? So some of the things that I've experienced is when you can't stop thinking about the subject. Like, you're in class thinking about Marvel Rivals, you're talking to a girl thinking about Marvel Rivals, you're talking to a teacher, a boss, thinking about Marvel Rivals, you're walking down the street thinking about Marvel Rivals, you're in Marvel Rivals thinking about Marvel Rivals, right? Wherever you're at, if you can't consciously either stop or try to find a way to not think about Marvel Rivals, in this case it could be anything, then yeah, that's step number one. Now, the more dangerous one is if you can keep justifying engaging with that activity over other things. For example, playing Marvel Rivals for 30 minutes when you get home from work, okay, I can see that. You turn that 30 minutes into 3 hours, okay, we're getting kind of close. You have a test on the next day that you didn't study for or plan for, or that the time you were going to spend studying was spent diving the backline as Daredevil or Spider-Man or flexing on Invisible Woman to help your team. Now we're kind of getting into a dangerous territory. And then let's say you do that 3 days in a row. So now your entire weekend that you were going to use to spend studying, you were going to spend making videos, you were going to go outside, you were going to work out, you're going to do something. A lot of that time you're going to spend has now been spent on Marvel Rivals. And fun fact, my computer is not that strong and I don't really have a setup to record console games easily. So the time I was spending on Marvel Rivals wasn't even being used productively like it was in the past. So it was just time wasted. I won't even say wasted, it was time spent, right? We're going to try a different route. So if you can't have a good return on investment for the time that you're spending on the activity, that's when you can really see I don't know if proposition or value proposition is the right word for this, but I'm going to use it right now anyway. The value proposition for what you're doing, what the addicted activity is versus what you could be doing without it, when that starts skewing really negative to where the addictive thing is like taking over your life and it's hard to get out and it's hard to see it and you can again justify it over and over again, that's when you might want to start maybe looking at some other alternatives, or just understanding that you might be addicted, and that's okay, because you got to be okay with it in order to start doing better. And the thing is, if your addiction has a variable reward system, aka the reward is not guaranteed. For example, you can walk up to a girl, right? It's not guaranteed you're gonna get the number. You're gonna get whatever you're trying to get out of it, right? You can kind of put it in your favor a little bit here and there, but it's not truly guaranteed, right? But like I say, if you go on Marvel Rivals, if you're trying to win a game, yes, it's not guaranteed you can win a game, but you can put it in your favor. But again, the outcome is not the same, so you're always trying to go back in to get that outcome, right? If you're trying to win and you don't win, now you're like, ooh, should I keep going? Ooh, should I keep playing? Because most people, they always say, I want to get off on a win, but then they feel good, so then they keep going because they don't want to stop that feeling that they got from winning. However, once they lose, they're like, damn, now I don't want to get off on a loss, because you don't want to leave that bad experience, because then it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So now you're trying to play again in order to get a good feeling. And honestly, it's even worse on a gacha game. I'm not even going to talk about a gacha game right now, because that's not Marvel Rivals. Except actually I lied, because they added gacha game elements into Marvel Rivals with the balloon popping skin betting system. I don't like it. I think it's dumb. Really wish that they never added that system in the game, because I'm not a fan of gacha games. But that is essentially an example of a variable reward system. You're putting money into something. You're putting something into another activity or another something to get an outcome that is not guaranteed, aka variable reward. If the things you're addicted to has that attached to it as well, oh my god, good luck. That is going to be something that you're really going to have to lock in and dig deep in order to get. Now, I meant to put this all into this section, however, I kind of sprinkled it in throughout the video, so now we're going to get into some of the solutions, just strictly the solutions that I came up with. I didn't come up with all of them, I didn't write them all down, because again, a lot of stuff is going on in my life, so I apologize. Make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, so you can see me on the return, the comeback, when everything's going strong. It's still kind of going strong now. I would say the first solution is identify what the root cause of the problem is. Like I said earlier, if you're going through something, try to understand what is the pain point that you're trying to solve with addiction, even if it's unconscious. Like, what are you feeling? What are you going through? What are you dealing with that addiction is trying to solve? If you can start to figure that out, you can start to understand, analyze, and kind of reverse engineer a healthier option. Now, you should also find out what part of your brain or body lights up when playing Marvel Rivals. Are you a competitive player? Are you a casual player? Do you like playing with friends? Do you like playing a diver? Do you like playing a healer? Do you like playing a specific character? Do you like it when you have to lock in and your brain gets all focused? Do you like when your eyes glaze over? Weird way to say it, I know. Do you like when you are in the zone, so to speak? Whatever that is for you when you're playing Marvel Rivals, if you can figure that out, you can then, again, reverse engineer what's making you feel that way and what's getting you there. But then you can also know how to potentially manually create that scenario, so you're not letting the game dictate your time, but now you're actively taking control of your situation. Something that I've had to try to do is two things. I've had to try to play specific times of the day and the night. For example, if all the people I want to play with get on at like 11 o'clock p.m. or 8 p.m. or whatever the time is, I try to dedicate, if I know I want to play Marvel Rivals that day, I'm going to try to schedule my day around that time frame. That way, like I said, I try to get homework done before then. I try to schedule, a workout before then. I try to make sure I got all the eating that I want to do out the way, and just try to make sure that I was productive in my day before I hop on Marvel Rivals. That way I know I didn't just spend time on it and do nothing. It's not always the case. It doesn't always happen, but that's the goal. And the next thing is, this is the last one. This is like a little bonus. The first one is, do 1 to 2 things that you have to do before you get on the game that you want to do. If you got to take a test, take the test before you get on Marvel Rivals. If you have to work on content, work on that content. If you have to go to work or school, guess what you should do before you hop on Marvel Rivals? Go to work or school. That way, you A, did something, B, it was productive, and C, you can I wouldn't even say the word justify, but you can allow yourself more grace when you get on Marvel Rivals because you did something else that was not the game. And the last thing is, if you do play Rivals with friends, figure out which one of those friends help you progress in life and in the game, and which ones regress you in the life and in the game. Which ones make you feel toxic, make you feel triggered, make you feel worse, make you feel lazy, make you feel unmotivated, make you feel unworthy, there's a whole bunch of negative feelings you could use. And the inverse, see which ones can make you feel positive. Which ones make you want to play the game, which one makes you want to have fun, which one makes you want to improve your life, which one makes you want to become a better person. And once you can do some of these things I'm mentioning, you then can make Marvel Rivals not the game that's playing you, but you can go back to being the player that is playing the game, if that makes sense. And this is the game of life. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. It went a little bit longer than I thought, but I didn't want to just leave y'all with a video that didn't really say a whole lot, as well as I wanted to really talk about my experiences and turn kind of what I've been going through with Marvel Rivals, not everything, but just some things, into a video that hopefully helps people get through any addiction that they have, and just know that you're not alone, that addiction is a dangerous game, and you're not the only one playing it. So with that being said, I hope you found this video useful. I hope you like, comment, subscribe. I hope you enjoy the channel and what I have provided, and I hope to see you all on the next video, because you didn't have to be here, but you chose to be here, and that matters to me way more than you might think it does. So with that being said, I value your time, I value your energy, so stay tuned, stay safe, and stay blessed, and I'll catch you on the next video.